Good morning. Good morning,
Good
guys.
morning. Good morning.
It's the 1st of June
Yes, it is.
2022,
Believe it or
guys.
not. Believe it or not.
Welcome to FYI. For your information, I'm Jared Finance alongside Cheryl
Yeah,
Duncan
we
this
here. We
morning.
here. We here. We outside.
Guys,
We outside.
this is our month. You know, we've been
Yeah,
telling you
yeah, yeah.
June is our month. So
It's
I'll
the
say
outside month.
all the people, all the June people come in, tag a
Rock
friend,
and come
share
in.
to a friend. June
Rock and
people,
come in,
this is
folks.
our
Rock and
month,
come in.
guys. I see in the comment section, guys.
Yep.
I see Beatrice Selby.
Let us know how you're
Beatrice,
receiving us.
how are you doing, Beatrice? And Vashti Magnot is there this morning.
Let us know how you guys are receiving us this morning.
I see Beatrice say, "Hey Vashti, good morning to you too." I think
one big family.
I think they need to exchange numbers. So,
Everybody here.
Gavin Liverpool, good morning to you, Gavin. How are you this morning? Gavin says, "Good morning to my FYI family."
Good morning to you too, Gavin.
Paulette Hicks in the house with us this morning. Rhonda Spencer Tom is also with us. Charles Humphrey is watching from New York. Says good morning from New York this morning.
Nice.
So good morning to you, Charles. Paulette
Hicks.
I see Maureen Coppins Williams. Good morning.
Here.
Wow. Siobhan McDonald. Hey, Siobhan. And of course, we have from the Bronx no one else than Edward Gonzalez.
Always.
Diane Fordyce, good morning to you, Diane.
Good to have you guys.
Tessa says, blessed morning to you both. Blessed morning to you also, Tessa. Spice Man is in the house this morning. Spice Man says, good morning to the FYI family. How is Spices going over there?
Looking good, we hope. Looking good.
I see Hazel McLean is watching with us this morning. I see Bucky is here this morning also, and Marlon King, and it's Bucky Marcus. I think that's his surname there. So good morning to you. This is the first time I'm seeing you joining this Eliza. So good morning to you. This is the first time I'm seeing your name.
Bucky's honor.
Yes. I see Roxanne Aaron with us this morning. Alex Prowell joining us all the way from Bartica saying blessed and productive day. And I see Steve Okra is in the house listening.
Steve Okra here.
Steve Okra is listening to Spice and Clove team.
Steve Okra on a Wednesday. Good to have you, Steve Okra.
Steve Okra, so she's listening to whomever Steve Okra is.
The person. Male or female, let us know.
Spice and Clove team.
Oh, good. So, we take it how we get it.
However we get it, we take it.
However we get it, we can take it. It's fantastic 1st of June.
Oh, listen.
Fantastic. We got some rain in the forecast, but
with everything that is happening, I think I have my own set of milestones when it comes to June. That when I get to the end of this month, I have a couple milestones to get to in June. Yeah, I'm so serious,
Happy anniversary. Happy birthday.
No, and strange enough, it's not to do with my birthday or anything like that, but I have a couple of milestones to do. Yeah, I see Savage Gonzalez saying June is a beautiful month. That is
it's a month of love.
Yes.
Month of love. Any June brides out there? Any June brides?
That was a thing.
Anybody getting married in June? Let us know. It's a beautiful month indeed. The month of
I
love.
forgot that because that was actually a tradition or something like that. What does it mean? Why? I don't know.
What are you doing Sunday?
Guys, if you know that, you can just drop it in. But there must have been some reason behind that.
You getting married in June? Who knows?
I don't know.
Is that what you're thinking?
No, definitely not. No. Definitely not.
Quick, fast, in a hurry. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
No. That's all. So, I see Warren Figueroa out there. Says good morning to you, Warren.
Good morning, Long Island. Good morning, Long Island. Let's know where you guys joining us from. We give you guys a shout out, man. Long Island, Polly and Shorts. Good to see you. Yep. Good to see you, Polly and Shorts. Polly and says keep the bishop on his toes.
I was just reading that comment. Keep the bishop on his toes.
Bishop. We spoke about the road last evening. Middleton Street.
I know.
It seems I've gotten some movements.
Listen, and persons have to appreciate the fact that when these issues are ventilated in the way in which we ventilate them, persons act because they know when people are made aware of the situation, then they have
they feel bad, they feel embarrassed. And it's not because of us, it's because of
people.
you.
It's the people.
You all show up and you all get them frightened. You all get them on the toes when you all show up in the thousands and view the programs. They get worried.
Yes.
They get worried.
If it was
everything busts out.
a 10 viewers, so nobody
Yeah.
didn't care.
Yeah.
Just 10 people.
Correct. Nobody.
Yeah.
Like Jack the press conference, nobody watching them. Right? A little 50 viewers. No. They won't fix that. But when they all shop in the thousands, and our audience in the evenings have been growing. We've been maintaining a steady just under 5,000 in the evening on the evening program.
That is correct.
Is that boy frightened? Is that us?
Yes.
Yes. Naturally, I'm a boring person. You don't find me very interesting. But you all keep showing up. And there's the bacchanal in the comments.
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is.
That's the problem. Naomi Drucker, y'all know yourself.
I see Carl Fordyce is here this morning, also from Trinidad. Trinidad in the house. Guys, you have been doing good. Too.
BVI, Audrey
lovely.
Good morning.
Lovely.
BVI in the house. BVI got some issues. We hope you all work that out quick. With the premier and the drugs and the different there.
It's gonna sort itself out somehow.
People take a couple of pages out of Jaggio book, the black book, the wrong book, the wrong pages too. Wrong book, wrong pages.
That's what he used the black book for.
Yeah.
But he redefined the black book. I thought it was something else.
Yeah.
Before. I don't know. My mind is always on some other quarter.
Marsha Glasgow's here. Marsha Glasgow's here. And Margaret Nelson says, my son is so amazing. Well, please and thank you. Please and thank you.
Today my daughter have a big exam today. Mathematics.
She does.
Yes. CXC mathematics. So guys, I know all the students out there that's heading to that exam. We're just about half an hour away from the exam. But we just want to wish them all the best.
Yeah. All the best. All our young people. All our young people.
Maths is a big exam. A lot of children have that little anxiety when they go to the math exam. So, like I said, even prior to the exam started, like I made a decision not to ask my daughter anything about whether or not you're picking up your book. I'll just leave it. Let her be. Don't stress the children out. Don't stress them out. So a whole lot we have to be thankful for as a nation. We haven't been doing too bad when it comes to CSEC and all of that. So we keep pushing, and we have to be so tremendously proud of the work that those children are doing, and all the teachers and everybody that contribute to that process.
Respect and manners. Folks, it's the 1st of June, but it's the middle of the year, and this is the time, really truly, when you're supposed to be doing it if you want to be effective. You look back and see those goals. Remember those resolutions we set? If you haven't abandoned them altogether,
yes, true.
You look back at them now and see how far have I come. Do I need to tweak anything? You might have been tweaking month by month as you go, but largely your goals for the year, you're halfway there. You look to see what you need to recalibrate. You hear the fancy word there? Improve my language these days. No?
I think you're gonna be. I see you heading to law. I see you in the courtroom. I don't think nobody wants to go against you in the courtroom.
The law is about language and logic. The late great Professor Aubrey Bishop, former Chancellor of Judiciary, said about language and logic.
Yeah, put it together.
Elevate,
Of course.
So you're recalibrating. You took me off track there. We're recalibrating for the year, all of your goals and the things that you're going after, your dreams, your aspiration, and you're kind of tweaking now to see how far you've come. And if you've abandoned some of them, you might want to rethink that. Right? Don't lose faith, Things hard, cost of living going up, but don't let me lose faith.
That is so true. That is so true.
Still got a big man upstairs. Lying down my check here.
My goodness.
Right? The bigger man upstairs.
I see Pamela Dover said a little earlier in the comment. I caught the comment, Pamela, don't worry. That it's this is her birth month too. So Pamela's June also.
Pamela, what date are you, Pamela? If you're in June, let us know the date. We fast. What month are you, Pamela? All right?
It's this month.
Our son. This is your birth month.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading around. Got me a little quick on the draw. Nicolai, good to see you. And Mia Miller.
I think she said June 14th.
Wow.
June 14th. So Pamela's a little closer. I think this Gemini, because Cancer goes from June 21st. Yeah. So Pamela's Gemini. Superb. I don't know what it means. I just know.
Nice time.
I'm not going to pretend like I know what it means, right?
Nice time. June 14th. That's a good day too. June 14th. That looks nice there.
June 14th.
June 14th. Looks like a good day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, Pamela was born then. So, Pamela, we're going to be remembering you on June 14th.
Yeah.
Come on.
Savage Zal says cost of living killing us.
We have some more folks there. We see Unica Light is saying June 9th. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I see Ines is saying June 11th.
Says June 19th.
I see June 11th. From
It's a big month, a lot of birthdays.
come on, I am.
Let's
June.
get together.
Roger
folks.
Norris says he's just Roger. What date? You can't leave me out. Roger's family to another level.
Yes. Right. Let's get together in June, folks. June is the month. We told you.
Yes.
We told you.
So Naomi was one of those June brides. Naomi says June is my wedding anniversary month.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow. What date in June? Oh, it looks like the 14th. 14th is a nice day in June. Lovely day, guys. Good to have all of you. You know, y'all coming through. Share the damn live stream, man. Smash the emoji, but
you know, somebody actually asked me, Shared is Shared upset about something? You know, I think Shared is a little upset because I got his complaint last. I think he was so aggressive with that bell last night. You know.
Once you do that. You got
your questions coming my way if you were upset or something.
Trench crapos, you know them.
Guys, it's always a pleasure, like to be with you, and I'm gonna just make the pitch very early to remind you folks to partner with us.
Yeah.
It's absolutely necessary that you do that, and we have been tremendously grateful for all the support that we've received thus far. But we encourage you to continue to give that support because, you know, it's as tough as it is. It's even tougher to make sure that we get all of this together on a daily basis.
And you know, I think Shuita and I, since our birthday, we should use this month as a real fundraising month.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things to do.
True.
At this back end. So many things to do, folks. Equipment we're still purchasing for the program to get us to the next level. A lot of bills we still got to meet. We got a lot of responsibility. So for me, you know, if you know, when it's your birthday month, people want to give you a little freck, send to the
birthday freck, right?
The birthday freck. Send it for the program. Send it for the program, folks, and let us.
See.
Right?
That is correct. That is so correct.
I'm not going to try any big party. I want to keep the lights on. I want to keep the doors open so we can keep giving folks valid.
You know, strange enough, I don't do parties. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've never done a party like that.
You went to the party that night when you bought this one?
No, me.
How many bottles you showed it?
Well, basically, when I was looking at it, I thought I saw a couple in the air through those videos. That's all. But I was out and about on that night.
Oh,
I was touching down on a few places.
Good.
I might have.
We get around. Susan Curtis says she's June. My birthday is June 19th. Susan can't just. I can see everybody here is June, man.
I see. Well, Norris is saying that he is the 22nd. So Norris is just the day before me. So
wow, you see that,
Norris.
You see, that's why y'all get along so
That's
well.
why we get along, Norris. Family.
And I'm the 30th. I'm right down the road.
Yeah, a couple of
right
days.
down the road. Hopping and skipping a jump.
A week off. Don't worry.
Like everybody in the show. All 400 people watching, 400 plus is June. And now I saw that comment.
Naomi says send money, don't come.
And I talked to Anne recently. We talking to Anne. We talking to Naomi. We talking to Anne. And Kurt Heineken and Mia Billa, that's who we're talking to. And Pamela Dover and so. Right?
We have guys, listen to me. We have a pack program.
Yes.
We started a bit of timing this morning, but let me tell you,
we can make up for it.
I see Warren said his anniversary is on the 23rd.
We can make up.
Warren, your anniversary is on my birthday.
Warren got married in the tradition of June. June month is wedding, right? Warren is old school like that. You can tell.
But his anniversary is directly on my birthday.
Yeah, you see that? What do you answer that? Right? So, and Warren married older than you two, see?
But I'm telling you, Warren, you'll be married as long as I've been alive.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Warren can give me relationship advice.
Warren, let's tell us a secret.
He can give me relationship advice. I'll listen to Warren, you know.
Right? Let's tell us a secret, right? I've seen some negative comments. I don't know if people don't like the program, why they don't. Read a book in me.
I didn't see any. I'm sorry.
You know,
I guess my eyes filter
Happy
the
June,
comments.
Happy June to the Trench Crapos, the Jacobas.
No, but I didn't see them.
Happy June.
But I don't like to miss them. Right? Good morning to all of you. Sorry if I missed a comment, even if it's negative. I usually acknowledge everybody that joins as far as I can see. So if I didn't see a comment, don't take it because if it's negative, I'm just rushing past it. I don't do that. Once I see it, I'll just acknowledge you. So just pop it in there anytime again.
We'll send some cyber hugs and so on. Don't worry. We understand cost living and so on. Your people just wake up vexed. You know why you vex?
No, right? No. Listen, we're
Cost of living.
gonna get into this
Cost of
discussion
living.
a whole lot more as we continue the program. But a lot of the young have been ventilated
Yeah,
outside
yeah,
is persons that are really struggling
Yeah.
in their home and home circles.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to acknowledge that people's mental health is at a fragile state right now. We have so much COVID and all of that put persons
correct,
at
correct.
a big disadvantage. But I personally say I don't give up on people
No, don't
very
give up.
easily. I don't give up on
Don't
people
give up,
easily.
guys. Don't
So
give up.
once persons
Right?
come into the program, they're here, we're extremely grateful.
Yeah.
And you ventilate as much as you want to, and
Yeah, get out
we
your
will be
system.
given the information nevertheless.
Get out
Yeah.
your system. Get out your system. you know?
Yes, but guys, today is a good day, a very big day for us. We're gonna have a special guest with us
Believe it or
very,
not,
very
we got
soon.
just for y'all.
right?
We always want to give y'all something
So-
extra. Idol Rodney and so on, Kevin Nicholas. We always want to give y'all extra,
Yes.
right? Pamela Dover, Wills Felix.
Mhm,
How you going? Good to have you. We always like to give us a little something extra just because you're special to us.
Well,
Right?
I want to start off if we can get into some of the discussions right now.
Mhm.
I want to start off with something that I know is very dear to you, Mr. Duncan, when it comes to the fact that we've been speaking about the guardrails of
Oh, yeah.
democracy
Yeah.
and how the guardrails of democracy are being broken down daily. And Cher does an amazing job of just putting it together before you so that you can basically
Yeah.
see every aspect of it. I made the point I continue to make the point, and made the point continuously that the only way that they will actually go and address a system is if they have found a mechanism to infiltrate
Yeah.
and to direct
Yeah.
the path
Correct.
of decision making
Correct.
within that system. And lo and behold, we have yesterday a big announcement with the PSC and the Integrity Commission appointees. That whole bit being done yesterday. So what is
Interesting
your
characters.
take? What is your take
Some
on that?
interesting characters there. A lot
yes.
of friends and family and favorites there.
Mhm.
And as a matter of fact, we've started in the evening program examining those appointees one by one.
Yeah.
You know, and for instance, if you take the chairman of the police service commission, you know, he is the father of the right hand lady there in the office of the president. You know, Sue L. Finley Williams. That's her father, and you know that's how close it is.
Well,
her husband they tell us is big executive at the Learning Channel, down out of Ensor there. So it's all in family.
So these are some facts.
Right? These are facts.
These are facts.
These are facts. These
It's
are
not
facts.
a secret.
The chairman of the
Okay.
Police Service Commission is father to the president's communications director, of course, who works very closely with the president. This is communications director.
Yeah.
Right? She's the image of the presidency out there. Her father has just become the chairman of the Police Service Commission.
Yeah.
What do you think happening out there? Huh?
Well, I think I just want to remind guys. I want to remind you. You can go back as many programs back as you would like to, and I like to say these things before. And I've said it, and I want to remind you now that I've been saying it 100 times. The only time that they are going to go and address those systems that are lacking and those bodies that have not been instituted, the only way they're going to do it is if they have found a mechanism to infiltrate, to make sure that they have a direct hand in the management of that system altogether. Because they're not interested in democracy, they're not interested in good governance, they're not interested in transparency, and they are absolutely not interested in accountability. So when those aspects are at stake, they're not going to go and address an issue. They're not going to have any one of those bodies actually function until they have found a mechanism and a way to infiltrate that system and to direct the pathway of decision making. And I have been saying it from day one. I say, if you find me to not be correct, provide evidence of otherwise. And as so far, everything that we say, we have been able to align the facts with that. That is as simple as it is.
I can see Irfan and Sue L. Sue sitting down talking about, you know, we got these things before us, you know. Who do we pick? You know, I can see Sue, you know, saying, you know somebody, man. I think I got a name, you know.
Well,
Right?
however,
Daddy, you know.
but however, those things. I think listen, when I talk about we spoke about justice and all of those
Yeah.
things and the perception of bias
Mhm.
and eliminating that from when a right thinking individual, when the facts are
Mhm.
presented to the individual, when they must be able to be at the at
Yeah.
standpoint that they
Yeah.
perceive something to not to be biased. And as it is right now, when the facts are presented to any right thinking person, the person would understand quite blatantly that this should not be.
Yeah.
It should not be the way it is. And this
Yeah.
is what we've been saying. If you present if you present a system to right thinking people that is just and fair, they would recognize it as being just and fair. But when you present a system that is the complete opposite, they have to call a spade,
Correct.
and
Correct.
that is what is being done
Correct.
right now.
Correct. And that's where we are on that, you know.
That is
So
where we are on that.
but we'll be examining them individually as far as possible as we move along. We got time. You know, we out here, we outside, we can be examining them as we go along the line. Well, Sunday morning people.
Well, another issue that I want to raise was something that I saw in the papers, and the headline caught my attention. And the headline read, fraudster arrested, and the VP warns company against using lobbyists for preferential treatment. And this caught my attention because we have been over the past month, I believe it was since February, we have been ventilating our own take on an issue on a particular interview that involved bringing to the forefront a name. I think that name Sue,
Mm-hmm.
when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to lobby work being done and so forth, and the fact that you had a representative from Vice Media traveling here to Guyana to have a meeting with the VP right here, and all of that was ventilated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Guys, listen to me. When I read this particular article, I'm taking it out to the Guyana Chronicle, and it says, and I'm gonna
Really
quote,
had it.
I'm gonna quote directly, right?
Really had it for us.
Well, the head is what I just went through. It says fraudster arrested, VP warns company against using lobbyists for preferential treatment. However, it went on to say that a man was arrested after he proved to be a fraudulent lobbyist. VP Barajaglia said on Monday, said the man reportedly claimed to be able to use connections with the government to get preferential treatment for companies.
That's Sue.
In
That sounds like Sue to me. I mean, how does something y'all? That sounds
well,
like Sue.
interestingly enough, no name is being given. This is somebody that was arrested. No name is being given, but this is an announcement that is being made. It says, and I want to just go further down in it. It says a few months ago, this is quoted the VP directly. A few months ago, I had cause to have someone arrested here in this building, someone who met with me in the International Energy Conference and Expo, took a picture with me, then went to a number of people and collected money from them. He said he had a close relation with me. I've never seen him in my life. That is what the VP was saying there. If people are seeing that this is the way in which you do business, that is what the people will go out and position themselves to say. You understand? But I think the most interesting part of all that I read was the very last paragraph that quotes again the VP is saying, we don't want to meet with them.
You know, the difficulty about that is that lobbyists come in all sizes and colors and fashion because you could have, I mean, the traditional lobbyist might be an individual who takes this on as a job, but you got former politicians, former office holders who are lobbyists.
You jump in the gun because you jump in the gun to where I'm going with when it comes to lobbyists, because at the 2020 election, the very person right about now that is complaining bitterly about lobbyists, that very party took it upon themselves to hire an international lobby firm to do their dirty bidding for them at every level. They did that. That's not a secret. That's not something that they couldn't deny at any point in time. That was done. And so it is strange that now when the lobbyists are working on their own behalf, there is so much chaos.
But it's interesting because if somebody was arrested at the office of the president, I've never seen that in the media. Wow. I've never seen, somebody being charged for fraud, misrepresentation. I haven't seen that in the media yet. So one wonders what has become of that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it is an interesting, but I think one of the things that caught my attention the most, like I said the last sentence, like we do not want to meet with them, is the definitiveness of that statement. You know, we do not want. This is not the president making a statement.
Or is it? Or is it?
Guys,
Mhm.
the VP is making a statement saying we do not want to meet with them. He is speaking definitively on behalf of the government.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in
The
our
second vice president.
the second vice, not the president or the first vice president, the second vice president is speaking very definitively on this matter. We do not want to meet with them. You know, all of these things is words that you know we need to take stock of what is going on, and this just add to the mountain of evidence that we say who really is in charge of the country.
You know what they're finding happening is that it's more than they bargained for.
Yeah.
Right? If you're running a multi-billion-dollar company, right, you're engaged in lots of meetings, right? Here, what's happening here. The difficulty is you would have a lot of tiers for people to meet with.
Yeah.
In that system, you might got a vice president, for instance, of research and development, who can independently meet with people given the scope of his work. Nobody meets with investors and so on besides 1 and 2 people in this government. And so you're going to find you in a lot of meetings because you're actually running a multi-billion-dollar company. If you alone want to call all the shots, but then you got a lot of meetings to be in. And you know what he's finding? That he's getting tired.
Well, I want to
That's
put
frustration
on that
out.
point, on that point,
Tired.
Shared is hitting the nail on the head, right? On that point, I just want to note another paragraph in the article that actually said that he noted that the government has been seen a suspicious increase of requests for meetings by courts, like a suspicious English. I don't know how
you have moved from running a corner shop to running a multi-billion-dollar company. It's like you move from running what do you call it, a Digicel franchise. You know, one of those small shops on Regent Street that sell Digicel products. And you're now managing Apple as a company. That's what's happening. Of course, the level of meetings you engage in will increase. And if you alone want to meet with everybody, nobody else in this company can meet with anybody and decide on anything. You are the clearance house. That is his role in the government. Nobody can make a decision unless it passes through him. So of course, you can get 10,000 meetings every day.
Suspicious amount. A suspicious amount. But listen, you do not get to complain about a lobbyist right now when you introduce the whole aspect of lobbying altogether. You do not get to complain about it when you started it, and that's what I found most hypocritical about this entire headline and all of that.
And if you're tired, resign and go write a book.
Lobbying was done at every level. This administration in office took it upon themselves to engage a lobby company for them to do their dirty work, not to do clean, nice, decent work. They're to do their dirty work. That's what they hired lobbyists to do. So how dare them complain about lobbyists doing them the same thing right now?
Yeah, I remember there was one publication had written a nasty piece about the APNO FC management of the oil and gas sector. A nasty piece.
Wow.
And then as soon as the PP win, incidentally, you see them pulling back. I'm trying to remember the name of the publication. They had retracted.
The international. I know it. I cannot remember.
Yeah, it was a wicked piece of work. They were lobbyists too.
Come on.
They were lobbyists too. Y'all know how this thing go.
Yeah.
And now he complaining. Y'all open the door. The international people out there know this government. They like people lobby for them. Right.
And it's about a kickback.
Come through. Rock and come in.
It's about a kickback. Yeah, so the lobbyists are coming and they're knocking on the door and they're saying, kickbacks available, kickbacks available.
So there's lots of that happening. I noticed Pamela Dover comment says karma is something. You know? Karma is dangerous. Anything else we got in the morning papers? Anything?
I actually want to come off with the morning papers a little bit because there's a lot in the morning papers that we actually want to be discussing as we go on in the discussion today. But one of the things, the first things, let's start on the international front and what's basically brewing out there. And let's start from there, guys. It says as you see it there, new U.S. rocket systems will
believe it or not,
Ukraine to hit targets 50 miles away.
50 miles.
Right.
50 miles.
I'm gonna read that
You
back
can
for you
stay in
guys.
Georgetown, you can hit a target in Linden. That's what I'm telling
New U.S. rocket system will enable Ukraine to hit targets 50 miles away. This is quite something. Everyone, we have to as the technology advances, we have the benefits of technological advancement, but also we have things that cause concern, to say the least. And when it comes to the military and the weaponization altogether, I think that those are things that we need not take very
you. Yeah,
lightly,
yeah.
because when we are here sitting in Guyana, we have to consider the fact that we do not even have an army. We have a defense force,
Yeah. And you know,
right? And so,
a comment that's made later on the a comment that is made later on the morning brew. You'll see it's funny in light of this, really really funny in light of this, right? That those guys can sit down, and this is not the. I'm sure this is not the longest range missile the U.S. has. You know, they got this intercontinental, right? But Georgetown to Linden, right where you used to have that iconic Linden sign, "Welcome to Linden." They've took it down now and they put up some other thing there.
yes,
Welcome to Linden. As a matter of fact, some people did some wickedness there because there was a beautiful photograph of the mayor of Linden,
that is correct.
and
That
they
is
threw paint
correct.
on it twice. A big billboard. They threw paint on it twice. That's how they're wicked. And they put something up else there now. From Georgetown to that spot is 50 miles. Right? As a matter of fact, 60 miles. So somewhere there about. 50 miles is somewhere around Silver Hill. I ran the things. I know the distance good. It's 50 miles. So you could sit down in Georgia and fire a missile and hit that target there with accuracy. That's what they're giving the Ukrainians to fight this war.
Well, I just want
Tell
to
us.
you, I just want to just make this point right now, Sherrod. Sorry. So I've been involved in tech quite a few years before I dipped my toes into politics and all of that
Mm-hmm.
altogether. So when it
You got
comes
your
to tech,
fallback.
and
You got your fallback.
specifically when it comes to the connectivity with satellites and stuff like that, anything to do with that bit of connectivity, I know it like the back of my hands. I can tell you that much when it comes to all the aspect of communication and range and all of that, omnidirectional and all of that. Point is, Sharon, that when you spoke about that distance, immediately I'm thinking that, oh well, if you actually do the distance via air, it's not going to be 50 miles, because you're talking about it via land through the road. And if you actually do it by air, it's going to be a whole different scenario altogether. So that just cuts it across,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so it's not going to be
Them
50
boys
miles
got
anymore.
them boys got a
So,
technology. Believe it or not, they got a technology and they're giving it to and I saw today Russia was complaining,
ah,
right? Russia was complaining about that. I think it's somewhere in the headline there. Russia was complaining about them giving this technology to the Ukrainians. Of course, they are going to complain. But that's what's happening on the international scene.
yeah, that is
Yeah,
correct. That is correct, guys. And as we move forward, I want to
closer to home,
closer,
but not at home.
not at home, at the regional level. At the regional level, I'm going to let Sherry take you through this bit
Closer to home, folks,
a little for you.
but not quite home. We got what's happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because this made me give a little chuckle, because Ralph Gonzalez is saying that the U.S. president, right, Ralph Gonzalez from an island that could fit 150 times in Guyana. Ralph Gonzalez says the U.S. president has no right to exclude anyone from the Summit of the Americas. Of course, they didn't invite Cuba, they didn't invite Venezuela, and one other country they didn't invite. And they're rowing about this. Now, when I thought about this, and we saw the previous headline that the U.S. could sit down 50 miles out in the Atlantic, 50 miles out in the Atlantic and hit a target, Ralph, better humble yourself. Better humble. Right? Fight in your weight class. Please and thank you. So this is what we're seeing here. Ralph is upset. Right? Let me know that the third country, guys, because I know you folks are sharp. Let me know the third country that the US has said cannot attend this summit. It's Cuba, it's Venezuela, and there's one other country. Let us know what that other country is. Let us know what that other country is. It's three of them. That's a little trivia for this morning. That's a little trivia we have for you guys. So that's what's happening on that front. And some we know we able. Some we know we able. That's how we can say. Some we know we able.
We are very much able.
Yeah.
So,
Some we know we able.
I have to say, we've been having a discussion, and guys, don't think that we haven't been trying in the comment section. We've been trying to monitor the comments. A lot of people have to say this morning about what is going on there. I see Guyana Spectator. I see Commissioner Cole. Everyone is just having their bit of a say there this morning. So, guys, we're going to be continue to monitor what you're saying. Make sure that you continue to give us those thoughts. Very, very interesting.
Yeah. The other thing that's operating there. Ralph is fine. Remember, he likes to position himself as an elder statesman.
Yes.
And Ralph is finding himself really isolated. Mm-hmm. No one is paying him any attention. He probably has no more uses on the Caribbean stage, and so he's forcing himself in the conversation that nobody wants to have with him.
Well, right? Wow.
Yeah, he says it's going to the Summit of the Americas to represent his own interests, and he was advising CARICOM to not go.
I see some folks are dropping you a name in the comment section there.
Let me see. Nicaragua. Yes, good. Love it. See, our viewers are sharp.
Very
Nicaragua,
sharp.
Cuba, and Venezuela were not invited to the Summit of the Americas. Yep, love it. We got some sharp folks here.
Listen, they amaze me every single day.
Sharp. Nicaragua. They're on it. Y'all on it. You see that? Once you throw it out, them folks on it. Right? I can see something I type within Google. Yeah. I like cheating exams. Y'all know yourselves. Yep.
I don't think there've been not a wrong comment there about the country. So everybody knew exactly.
Spot on. Right? Full marks for that. Full marks.
Move to the front of the class.
Move to the front. Full marks for that. What else happening?
I see Robin Orion, very interesting comments in the comment section. If I think we should have a forum where we get some of these viewers to ventilate their comments. Let person see the face behind these comments.
Soon enough.
But let us come home. Let us come home in the news and see what's going on locally right now at the EPA level, Sherrod. What is going on at the EPA?
Well, not so fast with the EPA. Look what's happening. On this one, Mr. Norton, Leader of the Opposition, RBC Norton, he has indicated that he carrying these appointments to the court for the chairman of the appointments to the Police Service Commission and the Integrity Commission. He has signaled that you want to carry these appointments to court, and so prepare for it. That's what you got to do today, these boys. The disrespectful. So we got to do what we got to do, right? And I don't know if the Attorney General has won anything yet since, I don't know, something but that's it. I don't know if he won anything yet. I don't, right?
Analyst B, I think he gets so hot and fire. He gets so angry with these things, but the fact remains that he has been losing all the cases. Since he's been sitting in that seat, he's been losing all the cases. So sometimes I look at him and get so upset. But that's another story. I see Savage Zal. I see your comment there. And Commissioner Cole, says Ralph get excluded from
part of these there's that too. Part of these appointments in these commissions had to do with meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition, and of course, they're looking for any little opening. Yeah. And there was what some folks call an impasse with the manner of the meetings that they were having for consultation. You can't call people at last minute and expect people to show up. Don't be disrespectful. And now they've gone ahead and appointed the Integrity Commission and the Police Service Commission. Right? Well, these things are consequences. So brace yourselves. Yeah. Brace yourselves.
Yeah, because I don't see in which competent court that could fly as acceptable. And I'm no legal mind, and I don't try to speak on such matters, but I say again that when all of these things are presented to us, when the facts are before us, the perception must be clear from the right thinking person that this was just. And as it is right now, that is not the case.
Yeah.
All right. So we'd see how it's gonna go, but it will be challenged.
See you in court. That's all we can say. See you in court. Another interesting story that we found is this one here, and actually this is in relation to some of it is in relation to the couple of stories with this in the morning papers about this farmer's loan that is available at out of Jamara Bank. That was launched, I think, yesterday, and Irfan went down there and talked some of the stuff. And some of these comments, we picked it up from, what do you call it? Peep and Tom in Kaichur News, who said that the president painted a rosy picture of the country's agricultural prospects at the Demerara Bank event. And he says, far from so. He said it is far from so. For instance, it's been pointed out that the president was talking about growing flowers here and reducing our import on foreign flowers. Right? Now, I like me rose much as the other guy. I didn't think I want no rose, I agree. But the point that was being made is that with the cost of hinterland travel, to bring those flowers, no flower can grow on the coast, proper flowers. They said the hinterland has the better soil for the quality of flowers that you're going to want to grow. The cost of bringing those things here going to be astronomical. Who can pay for it? Right? If you buy, well, women don't buy roses, right? They don't buy roses. They always want, men like roses too.
We receive.
Sharks like throw something. Men like roses too.
I'm good for reception of
but
roses.
a half dozen roses, I think it's somewhere about, must see, $14,000. I think.
I would not know.
That's what I say, y'all. You won't know. Let me tell y'all. And with the cost of living going up now, but them the rose, but the half, those must cut down to half.
I should value these things more.
Must be three for 40,000. But it's expensive, right? And they're saying that could go up even more because it's cheaper to import them than to grow them here and transport them, because you got to get your refrigeration now and all of that to bring them. How much you can pay for roses? 50,000 for three. Right? So all of that is a consideration. They talk about growing roses. They talk about doing all this stuff. And what people John was saying is that Irfan is tone deaf for some of the proposition he's making. Some of that stuff will never work. Right? And he alluded to the column alluded to the fact that the Caribbean Development Bank, a past president, had the same idea that the region could produce some of this stuff. But it's just the sheer cost of production, right? And some of the areas where they can grow better, we got better soil if you go further inland. And the cost of bringing it out alone, we don't have the kind of infrastructure, proper roads and so on, and the air freight and that kind of stuff alone. Would make it, you consumers wouldn't buy it in any huge quality.
Listen,
right? So,
I don't know why. let's not beat around this bush. The reason why that would come up at that level is because one of the boyfriends say they want to do this and they want some push in this direction. They say, hey, I can go and I can push this way and you'll get a thing.
I'm happy you mentioned that. I'm happy you mentioned that.
Listen, that's the only reason. Let's be honest.
Because there was a contention in that column as well, that the fisher folk coming together, he said there should be a consortium of people who want to do this kind of work and get into that, because there's a consortium who've gone into to a particular aspect of fishing. I can't remember word for word from the column this morning. But what people in Tom was saying is that what Ali failed to say in that meeting to those farmers is that you had an investment of close to $1 billion that government put into that to help out them same friends you're talking about.
Man, come on. Like
friends, family, and favorites.
Guys, I say it every single day. They do not do anything unless there is a kickback. They do not do anything unless there is a kickback. But that should be your motto. That should be how you look at every single thing that is announced by this administration, because that is embedded in their DNA. It's their trait altogether. And we have to acknowledge that since you see something being announced, you should start looking where are the kickbacks, who is involved, where's the family tree, where's the nepotism. Let's look at those aspects of it, because it's there. That those are the surety, that's the assurance we have when we go and we look at the nitty-gritty of the mechanism that has been set up to run any of these things. That is a sad reality.
So that was a pretty interesting comment. We saw a pretty interesting piece of analysis coming out of the Pippin Tom column in Kaito News that dealt with that. Also, we missed this a couple about yesterday.
Yes.
Winston Jordan had a fantastic letter in
Yes,
Starbuck News.
yes.
A fantastic
Detailed,
letter.
very
Yeah,
detailed.
and I'm happy that the former Minister of Finance wrote that letter because Jerry Gavai was out there talking a bundle of nonsense.
To say
A
the
bundle of
least.
nonsense, about the last government not engaging the private sector. Well, the former finance minister took him to task and almost ball by ball play of the last administration engagement with the private sector and telling us how the private sector would have benefited from that. Ball by ball play. One second. Ball by ball play of how things went down, showing us how they would have benefited from the private sector. It was a needed letter, and we're going to quote part of that to you because they ticked off Winston Jordan, and half of the harassment we see them having with Winston Jordan is because of the potency of the man. Who vex, folks? Make the share look nice, the man. Make the emojis look nice. We want valid and credible information. Make it look nice for us. Make it look nice for us. Valid and credible information. Right? Valid and credible information. And we are trying to get up that quote for you, and as well as give you the icing on the cake for this morning as well. Right? Valid and credible all the way. So we found this letter fascinating because, again, here was Jerry Gavai, Jerry Gavai of all people, talking about the private sector like people who paid attention. Right? The private sector like people who like it. It was so kindergarten and amateurish, and I don't know what else. I'll see if I can add there. The language, right? For a man who has been chairman of the Private Sector Commission, what he really means is money got to make. That is what he really meant. Money got to make. Right? Money got to make. That's what he really meant. Money got to make. Money got to make. Right? And so we're examining that. We're moving things around, and we have a visitor who we promised y'all. Rock and come in. Bear with us, folks. Rock and come in. All right. I think we're about set to come back to you guys. Bear with us. So we're analyzing that, and I gotta go back and we gotta read that. It's in yesterday's Starbuck News. We're gonna show you the header in just a second. Treaty trying to powder her those here. These ladies, they're different. They're very, very different. So Treaty's gonna come anytime now. Treaty's infamous for throwing up things.
I don't powder my nose.
Don't powder your nose. It's natural beauty.
No.
Which I'm telling you.
I woke up like this.
I beg your pardon.
I woke up like this, guys.
She woke up like this.
I don't add anything,
So she said, I want to digress from the conversation.
There's a bit of
I want to digress from the conversation, but we can pick up back on Mr. Jordan in just a second. I want to digress too much, but we did promise you guys a little icing on the thing. Let me see. We just try to make sure that we can straighten up if we get it. Right? And we do have a guest.
Here we are.
Look, the body can take it over, I feel sandwiched, but in a good way. Welcome, come on. Good to see you.
Listen.
So good to see you. So good to see you.
Allow me to make the introduction.
Please do.
Allow me the honor, the privilege. As you know, I'm from Region 7, Bartica.
I can be closer to come on.
The better part of Guyana, the best part of Guyana, absolutely amazing, beautiful township of Bartica, Region 7.
Yeah.
Guys, today I want to invite you all to welcome, for the very first time on FYI, the Vice Chairman of Region 7, Miss Nageshwari Lochan Prasad, and we better know her as Kamal Prasad.
What a lovely name.
You know, and I want to say that that we have been admiring the work that she has been doing. Phenomenal individual at the local level. I have had the privilege of working alongside her from as early as the town council days, because both herself and I served on the very first town council, and she served as the deputy mayor there, and now she's the vice chairman there. So she's a couple steps away from being right here in central politics, guys. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. And when it's here, you're going to be able to benefit tremendously from this young woman. So it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be in her company. And she is a dear, dear friend.
Yeah, I want you all know when the Barticians bring you out, they bring you out. Welcome.
Well, to all of you, thank you so much for having me, and good morning to everyone that is tuning in and listening to FYI. I'm happy to be here for the first time. Congratulations to you. I know Bartica has really made FYI even more.
Your story now. You see what I say? Shots fired. Bartica's doing it for us, and we're happy.
I want to thank each and every one of you for welcoming me here. Sharon, it was so frustrating to get here. What is happening with the city traffic and the roads?
It's the board. It's the board. More roads is more traffic.
Are just crazy.
Yep. You wanted the more roads solving anything. The bigger the roads is more traffic for again.
I think had I walked, I would have gotten here faster. It's so frustrating, but I'm happy to be here.
We're happy. We're happy here.
Yes.
We're happy here.
We're so happy to have Kamal here this morning. I want to say that we are. Sometimes this is just a first step into it. We're going to be bringing her back to discuss much more when it comes to what is going on the ground in Bartica and all of that. No one better to get it from. No one better, trust me. That this, I vouch. I rarely vouch and go hard for people, but Kamal is one of those persons. Very supportive, very dedicated,
and genuine too.
Extremely.
There's been a lot of hypocrites out there, but
yes,
Kamal is
extremely genuine.
A lot of Jacobites out there. Go ahead, William.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I think the interest of the Guyanese people is what propels us to be who we are. And I think you both represent the very same thing. And the majority of Guyanese, the ordinary Guyanese, deserves representation and deserves to have people that are looking out for them. Listening in to the program before I got here and the conversation, for me, it's so devastating to see what is happening. You talk about the cash grants and so forth, but what is the end result? What is the long-term vision for the people of Guyana, especially those that are struggling, the public servants? Cost of living has become something so enormous. How are people getting by and to be able to make ends meet? And when you hear big announcements with cash grants and so forth, what is the long-term benefits of the Guyanese people and raising the poverty line for the Guyanese people? So that is what it should be about. You cannot build a nation and you're not building the people. And just giving handouts just to make a month better does not necessarily improve the livelihood of the Guyanese people.
That is very true, and well said, Kamal. Because even with these little culture, and some of them can't even improve person's living for the month, because coupled with the inflation rate that we are seeing every single month, you have something else going up every single month. We were looking at basic items. We're looking at sugar, for example, and moved from $70 to $140. And it was being reported $150 per pound and all of that. So then you beg the question as isn't the administration aren't they looking to see a structured system that would have longevity in addressing these real issues? Are you just going to come and put a band-aid on it for now? And it's still there. The wound is still there. It's getting worse over time. So it's very, very crazy.
Like I said, the long-term vision of really lifting the livelihood of Guyanese people, and we need to have that.
Yeah.
It's chaos all around.
Mhm.
When you have something as simple as drinking water in the land of many water,
Yeah.
that the price has gone up.
Mhm.
You have so much imports of drinking water.
But tell us about that, and tell us what's happening on the ground in Bartico. How are the people in Bartico faring? Because that's a microcosm of what's happening in the rest of the country.
Well, Bartica, relatively, it's a lot more expensive. And like you were
Yeah.
talking about hinterland transportation and the idea of growing flowers, it's the same thing in Bartica. To get products, to get goods to Bartica, it's quite expensive. So the trickle down is to the ordinary man, because the businessman who's paying more, the price of gas is up to simply transporting his goods to his store.
Mhm,
It doesn't necessarily, they're not going to feel the impact. It trickles down to price raise.
mhm,
So the
mhm.
ordinary
Mhm.
man and salaries has not significantly
Yeah.
improved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Many of us has not even gotten the 7%.
Mhm.
So how do we cushion what is happening? And every day, every single thing, from the price of bread, as we know, and that is what we need to keep reminding the people out there, that despite the fanfare, the pageantry, to me it's more pictures than progress. It's and long-term planning. Guyanese deserves better, and I know that we can deliver better for them. On the other hand, you see that so much money Guyana is benefiting from, so much revenues coming in. And what has it done for the ordinary
Yeah.
people? What are, the social issues? Joretta was talking about the frustration and the mental health of people out there. Obviously, it's going to have an impact on people, and there is going to be somehow or the other, people are going to explode.
Yeah.
Because how do they manage?
That is true. Kamal mentioned something that's very important that I think I want to add to a little bit when she mentioned a few seconds ago that not everyone got the 7%. And for those of you who don't know, this is something that we spoke about some time back, but it's very important that we bring back these issues, and especially when there was no resolution to those issues, because being a vice chairman of the region, I think that I know Mr. Maipal, Ganesh Maipal, he has been on this for quite some time now, that the chairman and vice chairman throughout the country was not in receipt of the 7%. All right,
That is
chairman
that
and
is
vice
true.
chairman around the country.
I can speak on my own behalf.
Correct.
And that is a fact.
They have
Yeah.
not received the 7% increase, and we're talking about it because there was this big announcement that there's a 7% across the board and all of that. The chairman and vice chairman of the RDCs throughout the country did not receive that 7% increase. On although as high as the head of state received that 7% increase, the chairman and vice chairman did not receive that 7%. So it's not as across the board as it was touted to be.
But my
to say the
contention is,
least.
how does the ordinary person, how does the single parent
Yeah.
household, how does the household that is paying rent and have to send 2 or 3 kids to school, how are they feeding their children? That's my contention.
But actually,
Yes, as we go into that discussion.
this takes us into business here.
But
Yes.
cost of living is almost up to 50% increase, 35%. Let's be realistic. It's the man in the street who's really feeling the squeeze. And
Absolutely
they
right.
represent the majority of
Absolutely
the Guyanese
right.
people.
Absolutely right. Just yesterday, the Fisher folks getting nice. They're being given $150,000. About 50,000 persons, 5,000 persons rather, about 5,000 persons will benefit from this. The Fisher folks, they have been crying out. It's like it's only some people crisis here behind this country, It's like it's only some people.
Yeah, but I
Happy for them, but like
Yeah.
it's only some people. And then in addition to that, the mining community, they're getting a $2 billion investment in some handouts too.
Well,
Right?
I think
But it's
when
like
it,
there's only
when
some
it comes
people.
to myself and Kamal, we have very very acute knowledge as to what goes on in the mining
Right.
industry and what actually needs to be done there, as opposed to what people believe should be done there. And I always say that let me just recap a few things that you were speaking about the fact that Winston Jordan had that publication, and he was addressing the fact of the private sector engagement and so forth. Guys, you would remember every single time we get on this program, we speak about the fact that, and I particularly distinguish when I say I speak about the private sector, I said I do not refer to that little group at the very top, because when it comes to persons that are owners of small and medium scale businesses, they are suffering, and there has been little to no intervention that will benefit them altogether. And you can go quote me anywhere on that and present the facts that prove me otherwise. But I want to get to that when we're going into this discussion that you just mentioned when it comes to the mining sector altogether. Because when it comes to small and medium scale mining, it paints a different picture as to who the beneficiaries are to these intervention altogether. But let me tell you something. I want to speak directly to the folks, the fisher folk. And I see this $150,000. The first thing is that there was a big denial that all that is going on is actually affecting the fisher folk and the amount of catch that they're getting now and all of that. You know, they were researched that they said they had evidence that it was not interfering with the catch and the quantity thereof. Yet you see them now going and giving $150,000 to appease a problem that they're saying don't exist, basically. But I want to say this, you know, go and collect the money. If they didn't call you, you go to them. I say that. You go out and you collect the money, right? Do not allow it to just get by. Make sure you go in whatever line and whatever mechanism there is, and you collect every cent of it. But let me tell you something. At the end of the day, you must be rational enough to know, you must be of the knowledge and understanding right now to know that you deserve better and your family deserve better. And this is not a solution. Doing this is an insult. You're not presenting any real answers to the issue for the long term. But go and collect it. Collect it. It's there. Don't let them keep it and then pocket it off. All right? You go and collect it once it is made available. But understand that you deserve better, that your children deserve better, and in order for your standard of living to be uplifted, this is not going to do it. This is not going to cut it. Inflation rates are on the rise all the time. The farther away you go from the city, the more expensive you have to pay for goods and services everywhere. This is not fixing the issue. And it should not, and this is my caution to you, do not let it muzzle you. This is being put as a mechanism to muzzle you. This is being put as a mechanism to stop you from coming out and speaking up about the issues you're facing. And this is not a solution to the issues. And do not even let anyone believe for 1 second that this is going to muzzle you. You won't collect it and let it further empower you. Demand more. Demand a structured system that is going to address the real issue that you're speaking about. Because when this is done, at the ending of the month, if it lasts so long, you are in the same struggle that you are in prior, and do not think about it in any other way. And I just had to say that. So let's get back to the conversation.
But you did mention the raise in the inflation rate, and Kamal alluded to that as well. And that's what we're seeing in places like Bartica. That's why people are paying more for the same goods. I mean, we don't like the facts. A lot of people going to on the chat and so on. But we did better with the economy under the David Granger administration, which is the point really and truly that former Minister Jordan was making, Kamal, that you had a situation where we didn't even had oil money, but we were able to increase wages and salaries every single month, right? Look, in 2020, the inflation rate was 0.9 under the coalition. It was 5.7 last year. It's projected to be 5.1 for all of 2022. And Rita, you're already telling us, that for the rest of the year, it's going to be way past that. It's probably past that by now. That's 4.7 or 4.1 or whatever.
4.1.
4.1. So
they
by
haven't
December,
been able to meet any projected number.
None.
Let us just put that out there. They have not been able.
Based on the projections we have, the inflation could be 15% by the end of the year, which is precisely what Kamal is telling us is happening in the market currently. Kamal, talk to us. Talk to him.
All right, please permit me before I forget. I got to go back to Bartico. So let me just shout out to Bartico.
Go right there.
I know we're all over the place, but Bartica is home, and the people in Bartica are just phenomenal. And I just want to say that continue to make representation, continue to hold the fort, and better is going to come.
Yeah.
You know, and I just
Yeah.
want to say
Yeah.
good morning to all of you,
Yeah.
and to the people in Region 7.
You know, if endurance was something that you were looking for an example, I think Kamal has a distinct ability to walk the course.
She got the
You
patent
know,
on endurance.
Yeah, you see,
Yes.
growing up
Yeah.
in Bartica Region 7, for almost over half of my life on the when the PPP was in power for 23 years, I can tell you of the constraints and the lack of resources, healthcare, education-wise, and so forth. And it is my belief, it is my belief that throughout the country, every child, every community should have access to the same services, healthcare, education, and so forth. How can you really develop a nation when you stifle communities of the basic? And under the coalition, when the coalition came into power, there was drastic changes in the township of Bartica, where you saw the power supply. There was a new power station.
You were on the protest line before that. Prior to that,
there was tremendous improvement in the delivery of healthcare, where C-section and surgery
functional theater
started. You see a rise in better delivery of education and access to resources. You saw children performing better academically, and I think overall, when you talk about nation building, this is what it should be. No community, despite whoever might be government, no community should be left behind. So I have, like Joretta said, my recollection and my experiences growing up in a community that was deprived of so much just because of political affiliation really kept back and denied the children to fully realize their potential, and we have to move away from that. We cannot develop as a nation. You cannot say you're one Guyana, and when we continue to see that the same thing is being done over and over again, it's simply in the cash grant, the recipients of these cash grants and how it's being done. Simply from that, you don't have to be super smart to figure out what is this about. This is just about putting making the lives of supporters better. But we are all Guyanese, and every Guyanese deserve. We were faced with a pandemic which brought on challenges that nobody foresaw. And you know, I think that with all the resources now and how much Guyana is poised to benefit, we can do so much better for the people of Guyana, for the children of Guyana, and we have to change that whole system. I get sick and tired of hearing about what happened. Yes, we cannot deny our history, but we have the opportunity now to change the course of where Guyana goes. And if we continue, I am very, very disappointed to see what has been happening over the past 2 years. You know, we can do so much better, and we ought to do so much better, despite whoever might be in the saddles of managing Guyana. You know, Guyana is first and foremost for Guyanese, the development of Guyanese, you know, and like we were talking about for the past couple of days, what a slap in the face when an ordinary Guyanese, a single parent, cannot get a piece of land to build a house, 15 years, 12 years. I have family members who has been back and forth, super frustrated over the system. 12, 15 years, cannot get a piece of land just to build a home to better their lives. And then you see land they're giving out to a particular country. I'm not saying that we should not help others or so forth, but charity begins at home. What about the people of Guyana? What about the cries of the Guyanese? You know, and I come from a community and I travel across communities where you see how Guyanese people are really suffering. And they have been suffering for decades. My contention is whoever is in government need to really look at the foundation and start building from the bottom up. You have big announcements of all these developments that are taking place, and you go to a school and they don't have a proper washroom or water facility and so forth.
Yeah.
Can we please use the money and the resources and fix things here for our people? And then we will truly, for me, then I would say we are truly progressing.
Correct.
Because it's just like if you continue to have an abscess, but you're just putting a plaster on top of it, and you have all these fantastic announcements and so forth. Trust me, I'm not against development for Guyana. Anything that makes the livelihood
Correct.
of the Guyanese people better, despite their political affiliation, despite their ethnicity or religion or whatever. Guyanese are Guyanese, and we should benefit from whatever development our country can give to us. That's the bottom line, and that is what should be reflected. And then we will say, we can truly say we have a Guyana that is a one Guyana. I talking about the Prime Minister of Barbados. I give her due respect because at the end of the day, she's looking out for
her
people, and she is recognized and admired because she is on course for her nation, right? She is looking after the interests of her people. That's the bottom line. And she is not selling out her country to any other nation. She's looking after the concerns of the Bajans.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
And bringing great opportunity and development to them.
Correct.
So I give her kudos for that. That's what leaders should do for their nation.
Leaders gotta lead.
But that is true. I think Kamal has said it absolutely perfectly in what she said. This we have a particularly blessed period, and I think shared said it quite some time. There's the opportunity for great leadership, and we are right there.
Yeah, but we
are right there. The iron is hot.
Yeah,
right. We're right there. We had discussions, and I always like to push the number after this budget. This big announcement, biggest budget ever, $552.9 billion, and go back to what Kamal is saying now. But go into the schools, go into the hospitals, where is this money going? Right? You have this big announcement, this biggest budget ever. And I have to say, and I'm going to keep repeating it because I have the evidence again to support that this is the first budget that is going to be utilizing our oil revenues. We have had time and time again, and Kamal is absolutely correct. Persons should not be looking back. We have a unique opportunity to carve a path for ourselves like no other have had prior. It was none other than Irfan Ali himself that said we didn't have the resources before, but we have it now. But what are they doing with it? The management of the resources, because we are seeing a lot, and I can go back to the fact that because Kamal is making a phenomenal point with the people not seeing the benefit, and they should be the ones at the forefront of receiving the benefits. This is our country. These are our resources. We are seeing all that is being put out there, big headlines all together when it comes to the mining industry, all of tax removal and all of these things. And it begs the question, what about the tax on labor? When are you going to address this? When are you going to address the matters that affecting the working class of the country? Why is it so difficult for you to sit down and actually have reductions or removal altogether of that? What about the tax on labor? You're coming and you're speaking every single time you're making another announcement, but who does it benefit? And I'm saying again that all this talk about private sector and all of these, we have to define and redefine in Guyana with the facts presented to us how the private sector is structured and who exactly are the beneficiaries of all of these things that are being announced. And guys, it's startling for you to understand that small, medium scale businesses are not there. And worse yet, if you are fighting and you have gotten to a good place, and they perceive that your political affiliation is not with their liking, you are out.
I'm happy you talked about the private sector, because again, I want to circle back to the letter we spoke about that was written by former Minister of Finance, Minister Jordan, that is making its rounds. Let me just get in my hands. Yeah, that's making its rounds in the newspaper and on social media. And here is Mr. Jordan saying that that the last administration would have engaged the private sector, and the private sector got a lot of things of the last administration. He said every request by the private sector commission for a meeting was accommodated within his busy schedule. I established a ready entry, what do we call it, to the Commissioner General to enable pressing problems to be highlighted and solved and bottlenecks to be cleared. I found it disingenuous that Jerry Govaya, who he was responding to claim that his attempts to talk to the government were being rebuffed. He goes on to say, as I look back on the 5 budget speeches in the of the coalition, I marvel at the extensive list of concessions that were granted to the private sector over the period mid-2015 to mid-2020, from the reduction in the company income tax from 30 to 25%, to the dramatic reduction in excise tax charged on indigenous wines and other local fermented beverages. He goes on to say that the list represented an impressive and diverse array of concessions to all sectors, to businesses, whether micro, small, medium, or large,
important,
and to individuals, whether the public or private sectors. And all of this was done without the benefit of the oil resources and within the context of a very low inflation rate, averaging under 2%, manageable fiscal deficit, and a low debt to GDP ratio, right? 33.2 at the end of 2019. The economy grew every year with the highest growth rate of 5.2% being recorded in 2019.
Wow. And you listen.
Yep.
And this is why we definitely need to keep hammering back at things that we say, because a lot of times we would go to the National Assembly in particular and we would give these numbers but we have to keep bringing it back.
Correct.
Bringing it back to the public for persons to understand. There's a lot of depiction as to the last budget. That's saying $552.9 billion. There was a lot of cartoon depiction of what is going on. And one particular one caught my attention when they were showing that basically the Natural Resource Fund basically pulling the budget of 2022.
Correct.
And it's most interesting because what Winston Jordan is pointing out there is the fact that the non-oil GDP and the growth of the economy there that was achieved under the coalition was super impressive, right? Yeah. That is before they factored in any aspect of oil. That was the GDP there. So all of this talk about, the GDP is going to be this and the GDP is going to be that when it comes to the oil, I tell people you have to understand that there's a big differentiation when you're looking at what encompasses GDP when you include oil as against what the GDP looks like for the non-oil sector. And you will understand how the country has been managing and how the resource has been, the administration is managing the resource altogether. And you're going to go back to concepts then like the resource curse and all of those things, because you will see blatantly the numbers before you that speaks to that and speaks to the devastation that will follow if we continue down that path. There's a lot more discussion to be had, especially on that front. And I encourage persons to go and grab that paper and go through that article. Very, very in-depth piece of writing there from Mr. Winston Jordan. You should not miss a word of it.
Yeah, I know. I really wanted to capture from Kamal as a person who understands the business sector as well.
Yeah.
How is it going out there? Because, I think that not only the man on the street feeling the pinch, but a lot of business people are afraid to say that they are feeling the pinch as well. As a matter of fact, spoke with a couple of folks just last weekend who said that while you see a lot of spending happening, is in very, very small circles.
Yes.
Very, very small circles.
Well, certain business people are definitely feeling the squeeze, but when you have the support for the current government, people choose to remain silent. So that is what you find. What you found happening 2015 to 2020, people were not afraid to speak out as much. Now people are afraid for various reasons that we all know. But to point out one of the words that Joretta used about the resources coming in, you use the word manage. I think it's more mismanaged.
Yeah.
and that is important for people to understand out there. If you just jump and just handing out monies to people, what are the criteria? What is the system?
No distribution mechanism.
It's mismanagement, because we saw what happened with the COVID cash grant, and we cannot run from that. I think there are people out there who would
still have a pink slip.
With a pink slip, you know, and there were lots of allegations that came out. Persons were asked to give a part of their money,
kickbacks.
Families in an entire home were given, you know, those were allegations, and we are on the ground, and a lot of things that are being said on the ground, and we know for a fact sometimes never make it to the headlines or so forth. So what is happening on the grounds for the persons that are not in Guyana and not in touch with the ordinary man, the ordinary household, you find a lot of things are happening. But also what I find that is quite distressing, we continue to have contracts being awarded to people, contractors, and the poor quality of work. You know, sometimes take for Bartica, for example, a road is being upgraded or maintained, and in the next couple of months it's back to the same thing, and that's this waste of money. You know, we, even though, and I hate, I dislike when people say, oh well, this was being done like that, or that one used to do this like that. As Guyanese, we have to have a different mentality. We have to upgrade the way we think. If we're really going to give our children a better opportunity of a brighter future and to really match up with the rest of the world, we got to move away from that mentality. Oh well, they used to do worse.
Correct.
And that kind of thing. We have to hold whoever is in there. They're accountable, and we have to demand that we see good quality for our money. The money, the taxpayer money, the resources of Guyana belongs to all Guyanese, and how it is spent, and the work that we receive. You know, it's like you get paid, you won't go and buy nonsense with your money or pay somebody for something that is not of quality. You know, and you see a lot of that is happening, and we got to, and the thing is when Guyanese people speak out in this current time, nobody listens. Like, it's craziness out there. The roundabout, there's 2 roundabouts that is chaos. You know, don't we just listen and fix things and just
people stand by it?
Where is our national pride? Where is sometimes it's so embarrassing. You know, I happen to pass the eagle, what is supposed to be an eagle, and I had to see it for myself, and what the hype and what all of the critic and all of that was about. And I'm quite embarrassed to say, moving ahead and boasting of our economy and our resources and so forth. And that is how we're going to present ourselves. Is that the best we can do? Now, I am not here to bash anybody's work. I did note that the president said he stand by the work of the person or persons that did that. Now, that is a different level. You know, when you're projecting, you're promoting your country, it should be to the highest caliber, to the best that you can do. So I saw that. I was quite, you know, it's something like from back in the early 2000s, from Mashramani or something. It could have been one of the floats that just came and landed.
I thought I was harsh.
We need to do better. We need to do better.
Correct.
And for the people with a good open mind and that is listening, you know, jumping to represent or to I don't want to say the word rubbish, but it's quite not to the standard that it should be. And I'm just using that as one example because I was stuck there for some time this morning to get here. And I didn't want to put my eyes too much on it, but I said, this is what we can do the best as Guyanese. Then we're embarrassing ourselves. And one of the reasons that the rest of the world probably don't take us seriously, despite the money money that we might be talking about and the resources is because of how we project ourselves. That cannot be our best image. It's embarrassing, and we can do better. And the Guyanese people, I'm proud of those that are brave enough to demand better and to say we deserve better. This is not
Yes.
who we are as a nation. We have better. But when you suppress your best talent and your
Yes.
best intellect, and you fire the people who can really get the job done and put incompetence
Yeah.
as the order of the day, then we're going to continue to be an embarrassment, and it's such a shame for young people like
Yes.
ourselves. Well, I know I'm not as young as the others, but we're
We
we're
know
still
we're
in
not
the
as
young.
young.
We're right there with you.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Guyana, every single day you get on social media, you open the papers. It's embarrassing how things are being done in this day and age in our country. You have an entertainment show, and after the fact of what happened, then you have security meeting.
After the fact. After the fact.
You know, like
We're back to front.
I said that.
We're back to
That
front.
was my comment because I didn't want to be harsh. How can you not foresee? And that is when you don't have the best intellect, the best resources available so that you can foresee and plan ahead. And that's what I'm saying. What is the long-term vision?
Everything is
And
reactive.
we continue to be with these things happening. The good, right-minded Guyanese people are quite embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know?
Rightly so too.
Right-minded
Rightly
people
so.
being embarrassed. You know,
Rightly
I
so.
think Kamal is
Rightly so.
completely
Well, I saw
hurt and
somebody
dissatisfied.
commenting on people's physical attributions and so forth. Poor mentality of people, and we will continue to have that kind of people in our society. When I can remember my good friend and leader, Kim Ramjatan, while he was a minister and so forth, the amount of times he was humiliated and bashed for his physical appearance, you know. And I think he had, despite whatever, his vision was quite clear and concise in comparison to the people that they might say are
How we doing crime now?
physically
How are we doing
beautiful,
crime?
you know.
We ain't seen where the crime rate going.
You know, it's.
But the leadership, I think Kamal put it over. It's very direct.
Nail on the head.
No one can dispute anything that she's saying. But that's what it is. I think one of the most important takeaway that I'm going to have from what was just said there by the vice chair of Region 7 is that when you suppress the talent, you know, you suppress the people with the real with vision and talent and competence. This is what we're left with, and you know, and that's and I'm just talking
and then
about.
You're gonna defend something that is an embarrassment,
but it's a representation. Good
to defend. I would be quite embarrassed even at my state to defend something that is not to the best and does not represent the best of Guyana.
Yes.
Just fix
Represent
it.
the best of them. Mediocrity. Represents the best of them.
Yeah.
That is
constructive criticism and take it and do something better, like everything else. You know, we have to understand that it's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
And sometimes the person that we may not like, we do not. It is not in our camp, but they definitely might have better ideas,
better vision,
us, you know?
more
you gotta
talented.
listen to everybody if you're really gonna if you're gonna really put the best image of what Guyana should be out there.
Correct.
A few months back, I traveled in and out. And when I was coming through the airport, I saw on the ground there were like some small containers with little Guyana flags stuck in there. And it looked like growing up, like back in the days when you utilize milk tin and stuff like that. And I was coming through the airport. I don't know if it's still there. And I said, is this the best way we can represent? This is the first image of everybody. Just a few days ago, we had one of the ministers allude to how many foreigners Guyana is the place to be and so forth. And if this is the best we can portray. But this is coming back to my original point. This is when you put place people
Mm.
to do things that may not be the best suited
Mhm.
for that
Mhm.
Square pegs, wrong
job.
holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the challenge
That's
we
where
got.
we are.
That's
That's where we are,
That's
guys.
where
That
we
is where we are. You know, take it or leave it. If you don't like it, then present the facts of otherwise. So that's what I always say. We come to you, bring you credible information. We report from a position of facts. I do not come here and say anything that I do not have facts for. So trust me on this one. And I always say, if you have facts of otherwise, bring the facts and present the fact to us. But guys, we're going to just jump in the comment section for a little bit as we wrap up this morning's program. I see Marlon Thomas and I see Marjorie Primo there this morning. Naomi Draka is in the house in this.
Thankfully.
This woman got beer shades. Naomi said,
Welcome.
Naomi
Welcome
is
to
one
our
of
world.
our ardent
Welcome to our
FYI
world.
viewers. And I see
Yep.
Marlon Thomas. And I see Gwyneth Anderson in the comment section. You know, I say Kamal is having a first-hand experience of what goes on at the back end of this program altogether. How the comments run by so quickly, but you gotta catch up with it. But folks in Bartik, I can say that you have excellent representation in the form of Kamal Prasad. Like I said, she's been doing an amazing job, not now, but she has been serving since she started as the deputy mayor of Bartik back in 2016. It was quite an experience to work
Right.
alongside
Yes.
her, and she continues to do the good work for the people of Bartica. So when we have good leadership, I think we have a lot of good things to look forward to, especially when it comes to grassroots leadership and people that actually associate, mix
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
real people on the ground on a daily basis, so you know the real challenges of them. So when you speak on behalf of them, and you're not speaking from a second-hand point of view. You're speaking from first-hand information of what goes on the ground. So Anna Phillips and all of you guys, it's so good of you to join. I'm going to allow Sherry to jump in the comments right now.
No, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to give the final word to Kamal. Good to see all you guys. Good to see all you guys.
Yes. So the final word goes to our guest this morning.
Well, I was quite nervous getting here.
But you're here now, you're outside.
I know I've been invited a couple of times, and I so happen to be in the city.
Yeah.
And I like your shirt,
Yeah.
Sharon, and I'm happy.
And I was
that
just
you're
looking how
quite
good. I was just
confident.
looking how
I
good you
was
looking
gonna
black.
wear a pink dress, and I said, you know what, it might come across too much and I know Guyanese have a thing.
We're very touchy with colors.
Yeah, but I wanted to be. I wanted to also take a moment to recognize the situation in Guyana where women are losing their lives. So their intimate partners and children are also losing their lives to domestic issues, and it is the other pandemic.
Yeah.
Correct.
Domestic violence is affecting so many people, and sexual violence, and that is something that we do not talk enough about, and we do not see any realistic plan in place to tackle this situation in Guyana. I know there is a young woman that should be cremated today, if I'm not mistaken. I've been busy for the past 2 days, who was allegedly beaten to death by her husband. I know he's a person of interest according to the reports out there, and that woman would be cremated today. I know she has close connections to Bartica. Her name is Omega Alt, and I want to say my condolences to her family, and she again brings back the harsh reality of what is really taking place in the homes of Guyana. And we must address these issues, what is really causing people, men, our partners, our home, to come down to this extent where people are frustrated, whatever reasons, mentally challenged. What can we do as a nation to really tackle this? It is something that has been echoed over and over and over again. And every day or every other day, we open the newspaper or we go on social media, and there it is again. And we continue to just hear selective outcries, and then that's done until you hear another something of the other sort. A few weeks back, a young man lost his life in Bartico. It was on a social scene. He was being a peacemaker, but it comes back again to what is really happening in our society. Why people are so frustrated? Why are they so angry? Why are they resorting to violence? What are we promoting? The kind of music that people are listening to, the consumption of alcohol, children, young people. There is no real plan to tackle these social issues, as we saw drugs allegedly being sold right in the school, and then the ignorance that is being promoted on social media, until it touches home. Then we understand how serious these things can affect families and affect your loved ones when you have a young person that is struggling. But because the availability of these illegal drugs and alcohol being sold to underage young people, we have to look out for them because they're the future of Guyana, and
we can't give up on them.
The real issues. What are we really doing about this? I don't think that from ages back enough is being done, and we have to advocate, and we have to make it something that we find a way to deal with, insist that there are stricter laws in place, that justice is served, that people understand the consequences of their actions, and not have somebody perpetrate an act of killing or seriously injuring their intimate partner, and then they just walk free, or they continue to do it, and it's not being taken seriously. And as communities, we need to be more involved and really look out for both our young people and what is happening in families, because in the next couple of decades to come, what is really going to happen when I walk around and you see young people that are just moving around in a sense aimlessly because they've become so entrapped into this lifestyle, this false sense of hype and happiness, we need to go back to a place. I'm happy that I grew up in a Bartica back in the 80s and 90s, where families were really families and communities were really strong, and they were really about seeing the young people have a brighter, better future.
True.
Poverty was really real back then. Myself coming from a 9 siblings family, when I was born, my parents owning a home with just 1 bedroom, and being elevated to be able to get an education, and ensuring that you were brought up with certain principles and morals. I think that is something that is also a big issue, and we need to address those things. Over the past weekend, I didn't say much on social media because I was so upset because of the extent of what was being promoted, and unfortunately by quite intelligent people, educated people. If you repeat, the Molly, sugar down with the Molly and whatever, you making it, you promoting it to the young people as the thing, and these drugs, they're destroying lives.
Families.
We don't know what is happening within the home structure, but it all comes back to what is for women especially, opportunities out there, what kind of independence they can really gain by being by themselves, what is their earning power. If you're working for a salary that can't even feed your children, then how are you walking out of an abusive relationship? How are you going to another family's home that cannot even provide meals for you and your children? So how are we really doing it? And that's why I will continue to advocate that the poor and the working class people of Guyana deserve to have a living wage, salaries that they can stand on their feet.
Correct.
And they can make decisions that would be beneficial to their families, and they can provide adequately. That is the Guyana that we would see progressing. When we start there, when we get that going, then we will be able to see an empowered people. we have to do better.
Correct. As
That
well.
is correct, guys, and
That's work to be done.
I hope you took that all in. Very, very,
That's work
very
to be done.
important conversations for us to have, and a lot of them that we've been having already. So I tell you that we always bring you the credible information, and we would like to say a special thank you to the vice chairman of Region 7 for being with us this morning and bringing such value
Thank
to the
you,
discussion, the
Vice Chair.
conversation altogether. So thank you so much for joining us. You know what you have to do. Make sure that you share the stream.
the
I
shares
see
look
Vashti
nice.
McNaught and all of you
Like
guys
the shares look
in the
nice.
comment section. Chisel Chippers 68. Apologies for not seeing your comments earlier. Chisel is rowing
Yeah,
feverishly
they
in
like
the
that.
comment section
They like
right now
that.
for not being
like that.
acknowledged. Chisel, we see you out there. You're good.
Vashti, take it easy.
Yes.
You guys keep up the good job. And
Yeah.
Amanza, I saw in a lot of the comments, a lot of persons were asking about Amanza. I know I'm not a fit into the show, but I'm quite sure Amanza is going to
You
be
coming back
here
too?
Yes.
as soon
We're
as,
gonna talk.
because of geography, I would have been here.
True, very true, very true.
More often. You know, it takes hours
Yep,
upon hours
yep.
to travel to get to the city from Bartikatong, and especially with the craziness that is happening with the traffic.
Yeah, but we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that, but we're gonna make sure that Kamal is back with us.
Yeah,
So
come to we
have
come
an
to you.
awesome day, everyone,
Thank
and
you
that's
all.
it. That's it.
Happy to be here. Have a good one.
Yep.